So, hi, Jill.
Hi, Marty.
Good to see you. I'm here with Jill Kress, the CMO of National Geographic. So, can you tell us, Jill, what National Geographic Network is?
It's actually a really exciting time for National Geographic Partners. It's a brand that has been delighting and wowing consumers for 129 years, going back to the work that they did in the journal and the magazine, which was launched 129 years ago. Really leaning into its belief in visual storytelling to change the world. It grew from there to create products that actually brought the brand values of science and exploration to really save and further the world through products like trips that could take you to where our explorers were out in the world. I think it was a brand that meant so much to consumers for such a long time because it was really showing us the world and everything in it long before the internet and Instagram. Over time, as it grew, a television channel was created so that we could become again, a visual storyteller through the video medium. 1.5 years ago, we actually entered into a joint venture with 21st Century Fox. And so we created National Geographic Partners, which combined the television channel, which was always a joint venture with Fox, and every other working media asset to create what is truly a purpose-driven media company. We operate within a virtuous cycle of doing good in the world through 27% of the proceeds of the partnership going back to fund the work of the National Geographic Society, which is the original National Geographic. And so we have the work of explorers and storytellers very corely in our DNA. We are one of the original purpose-driven companies. The society always existed to fund the work of explorers and storytellers to change the world, who focus on things like what's happening today in climate and conservation and sort of furthering that agenda through education. So I kind of like to say we're like a 130-year-old startup. You're working with this incredibly trusted and loved brand, but to really sort of, bring new energy and life into this brand and to really drive home this purpose-driven relationship that we have with our audiences.
You're in a sort of an unusual situation, it seems. Your brand, that brand National Geographic, must have very high awareness, I'm guessing.
Incredible. I mean, it is one of the
What
most...
is it, about 98%?
Particularly here in the US, but in many markets around the world.
Yeah.
We reach an audience every month of over 750 million consumers around the world.
You have a few Instagram followers.
We have a few
too.
Instagram followers. We've got 81 fans, followers on Instagram. We've got over 140 million on Facebook, and through our television channel, through our cable relationships, we reach hundreds of millions of consumers around the world. And so the opportunity is to really sort of, tell that purpose-driven narrative of the brand and our sort of, our belief that we exist to really deepen people's understanding of the world around them so they can understand their role in it. That's really what we do in the brand that we're trying to build. And we also do that through the products that we create, whether it's the work that's done through the publishing of the magazine, the digital content, which definitely resonates with our audiences that you mentioned, or the incredible work that we're doing to reinvent our television channel, really investing in more premium storytelling, the likes of which you may have seen a 10-part episodic series on the life of Albert Einstein. Yes, called Genius.
Yeah.
So it's really, bringing the brand to life through, storytelling with a purpose.
Yeah.
Last year we did, I think, something that really embodies the brand. We jumped at an opportunity to partner with Leonardo DiCaprio and Fisher Stevens on a project called Before the Flood. We created a doc film with Leonardo, who went around the world to really look at the impact of what was happening with climate change. And we ran that just before the election. We did something that was unprecedented and by commercial means kind of seemed to be a bit crazy. We ran it commercial-free on any and all digital platforms, including our channel, and ended up being the most watched documentary of all time for National Geographic. And again, it's this sort of brand coming together with content and product to tell stories that matter in the world and that can make a difference.
Well, earlier we were talking about branding in general,
Yeah.
sort of as a broader theme beyond National Geographic. Do you think that brands in the future, or even today actually, are going to have to be more what you're calling purpose-driven? And what does that mean? I mean,
Yeah.
is the value of being a purpose-driven brand going up over
Yeah.
time? And Why?
I think it definitely is. I mean, it's funny. We were born as a purpose-driven brand, and now we're becoming a for-profit venture, where you see many other companies, within the Fortune 500, Fortune 100, who have always been sort of for-profit companies that are now creating foundations so that they can sort of link what they do to what their role in the world is, to be, sort of a brand that could be a force for good in the world. And I think they're doing that because it matters to consumers. They're doing it the other way, right? We're sort of in a unique position.
What does purpose-driven mean to you, though? Does it mean you have a mission like, I don't know, curing something or
I think it does. I think it sounds so cheesy, but making the world a better place. So for us, it's around things like conservation and what's happening with climate change. I think for other brands, I worked at MasterCard for a long time, and they had a big belief that they could leverage their technology and what they do in the way of connecting buyers and sellers to bring more people into the formal financial economy, because there's lots of positive benefits that happen when you do that. And so it does matter, and I think it's around sort of having an impact and brands sort of leaving a mark in the world. And we know consumers, particular millennials, they really want to find purpose. They're looking for their, what is my role in the world? What am I going to do to make this world a better place? And I think brands who are creating forums and opportunities for audiences to actually gather with like-minded people, or connect virtually with a tribe of people who have the same values, and doing that around this sense of purpose is something that matters.
You do a lot in social
Yes.
channels, and actually some interesting work. You have a Snapchat Discover channel. You have all those Instagram followers, which you should reveal what your secret is, because I think you have more than J-Lo. Or
Well, yeah, the celebrities definitely have more followers, the Kardashians and Justin Bieber, but
what is
that's
the
a whole
secret to
other
that? Because
conversation.
it's Instagram. It's
It
a
is
very
Instagram.
visual medium.
National Geographic has over 80 million fans on Instagram, and I think, it really is a testament to our belief in the power of storytelling to change the world. National Geographic, our rock stars are our photographers, people who are really out in the world, taking photographs to, enhance the stories that we tell. And, I think one of the reasons why we have such a passionate and engaged following on Instagram is that we actually turn the keys to our Instagram account over to our photographers who are out in the field and really post on our behalf. Our photographers are, again, part of this community of explorers that really are the heart and soul of our brand. They are out helping people understand the world around them through the photos that they take. We trust them and empower them to bring sort of our brand values and those stories to life through the photos that they take. So at any given time, we have 8 to 10 photographers who are out in the world on assignment for us, who are posting photos. And it also allows us to do things at moments, of late, for example, with the hurricanes, where we had one of our photographers who was actually in Houston and able to sort of bring their unique perspective through photos to what was happening.
Do you do any advertising for just your brand?
That's a great question. And so for a long time, the brand marketing lived through the products that we were marketing. So we would market the magazine and the value of the magazine, or we would market a television show like Genius or Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson. We're actually working on creating a big, bold brand campaign to bring our point of view and our purpose to life, because now that we're sort of one company and we have this ability to do more holistic activation across social, across our travel products, through licensed products, through our content, whether it's video or editorial or digital, to really sort of bring our purpose-led point of view to life. So stay tuned, you'll be seeing a brand-led campaign. We're also working to ensure that our brand values start to come through some of our product marketing. When we market a television show like Genius, or a show we have which is about to air in November, which is Long Road Home, and it's a story about a military troop who went into Iraq. We bring a brand activation of purpose into how we're going to sort of market that show.
That sounds like good stuff.
It's great stuff. It's a great brand to work at. I have to say, the thing I love most about working at National Geographic is the reaction that I get from people all over the world when I tell them that I work for National Geographic. You get such positive reactions. It makes me want to, work hard to make this brand more relevant for today's consumer.
So what does experience mean in your business?
I think about experience in 2 ways. One, there is this big ambition that consumers have to to have experiences and to embrace them. And so we do that through the products that we create. You know, actually taking consumers out into the world through a National Geographic trip to get close to what's happening in certain environments. Really enabling sort of experiences and access associated with those experiences. So if we're going to take you to the Galapagos, really ensuring that you have access in that experience to the foremost researchers, scientists, photographers who are down there. So that's a very tangible experience, and we work really hard to ensure that we deliver a differentiated hands-on experience and that we can extend that through the stories that we tell and through the way we bring the brand to life to get to more consumers through, let's say, digital. So that's one big area of focus for us. It's an experiential brand, and we lead, you know, that ambition by bringing our consumers closer to the work that our explorers are doing out in the world. We also think of experience and the importance of seamless experience for the consumer. As we look at the suite of products and experiences that we bring to a consumer, how do we ensure that we can really start to know the consumer so they can have a more seamless journey with our brand? As we sort of organize around tribes, right? We have a lot of photographers, aspiring photographers, and they're part of our community. So when they sort of enter our ecosystem, our environment, and want to engage with us as it relates to photography, how do we make sure that we don't have sort of a one and done experience with them through digital? They might post a picture on one of our sites. How do we not let that end there? How do we really understand what matters? What are the kinds of photographies? What are the types of people that aspiring photographer would like to connect to? How does that sort of translate into how we bring them into our television channel by understanding what matters to them? So it's really about a big shift and investment in understanding, you know, what is the consumer journey across our series of assets to make sure that experience is more seamless and delights them every time.
Well, I'm sure you'll do that. So, Jill Kress, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.